Knicks Insider with The Athletic, James L. Edwards, recently provided an update about New York's trade plans for Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achiuwa. He's also suggesting that the Knicks go after Detroit Pistons center Isaiah Stewart. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. But before we get started, guys, about 55% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. We have a goal to try to reach 25,000 subscribers, and we could really use your support. If you enjoy daily Knicks content like this, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button because it could really support all the great content that we're creating for you. And now, let's get started. The Knicks trade plans for Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achiuwa. If the Knicks want to make a trade, without a doubt, if you take a look at their trade assets, Precious Achiuwa is probably their best player to use in any deal they want to make. That's because since he's returned for the Knicks, he's looked phenomenal, coming off the bench, backing up Karl-Anthony Towns, and at some points, backing up OG Anunoby. However, what's more shocking is that recent reports have come out indicating that teams have contacted the Knicks about potentially wanting to trade for Mitchell Robinson. And after hearing all of these reports, fans have asked themselves, what are the Knicks going to do moving forward regarding making a major trade? Well, thanks to The Athletic's James L. Edwards, he gives us more information on the Knicks and what their trade plans are. Let's break down those latest reports. Shout out to James L. Edwards for giving us the following information. In a recent mailbag that he did, he answered the following question. Do you see the Knicks keeping both Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achiuwa past the trade deadline? Or is it redundant and one of them is probably going to be shipped off? Here's his answer to that question. This is hard to answer because we have no clue when Robinson will come back and what he'll look like. All signs are pointing to Robinson being out until late January at the earliest. The trade deadline is February 6th. I have a hard time believing that many teams will be lining up to trade for the often injured center who has another year on his contract after this one at slightly more money than $12 million without seeing him play. Foot injuries and big man aren't a great combination. Now, I hear what Edwards is saying here, but I have to go back to the video that we dropped yesterday and the report that we had from Ian Bagley. As mentioned, teams have actually been contacting the Knicks about Mitchell Robinson's health, his status, and his availability via trade. So even though he hasn't played one game and he has all of these injury concerns, the Knicks might still have options in terms of moving him because apparently teams are still contacting them wanting to understand what his availability is. And the only reason they would do that is because potentially they want to make a move with the Knicks to get him off of this team and get him on their roster. That's just something to know as we move forward here. But let's continue with Edwards' reports. With all that said, Robinson, when and if healthy, is exactly the type of player this Knicks roster could use. I think that the Knicks will scour the trade market for a big man. Even if Robinson returns, can the organization trust him to be available throughout these 1.5 critical years for the franchise? I don't think so. Combining the money of Robinson and Achiuwa at this deadline, which would be about $20 million in salary, is more than enough for New York to bring back a big who could help bolster the current group. One of the main takeaways from that article is the fact that the Knicks, when healthy with Robinson, want Robinson on this team because he's a perfect fit for this roster. With that, I agree with James L. Edwards. I think when he's healthy, he's going to fit right alongside Karl-Anthony Towns and help improve the Knicks defense. And that's exactly what we need. With Precious Achiuwa, he also fits this team very well for one main reason: the chemistry that he has with Tom Thibodeau and the fact that he understands how to play under Tom Thibodeau. If you make a trade for any player right now, you can't say the exact same thing. It's going to take a little bit of time for them to build up chemistry with this team and with Coach Thibodeau. And we already see chemistry and taking time that could alter what this Knicks team looks like for a couple of months. Do we really want to sacrifice that after finally we're getting healthy and we're starting to look like a really good team? That team like a dominant championship contender. The team that I thought we were going to be entering this season. Obviously, injuries had a lot to do with that, but we're finally starting to get healthy. Do we really want to make a move at this point in time? That's going to be up to Leon Rose and this Knicks front office. However, One of the other takeaways from that article is that if the Knicks do want to make a move, Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achiuwa, both together, total $20 million. That, for me, says that the Knicks can go out there and make a major trade, a major splash for another player if they want to. The only question is, who should they go after? Now, obviously, Edwards believes if the Knicks are going to make a trade, they're going to go after a front court player. That's likely going to be either a power forward or a center. If that's the case, then who are the Knicks going to go after? Well, James L. Edwards helps answer that question too, because according to him, he would like the Knicks to go after Detroit Pistons center Isaiah Stewart, and he calls him the perfect fit for this current roster. Let's see what he has to say about that. According to Edwards, I keep going back to the Detroit Pistons, Isaiah Stewart, as the perfect fit for this roster. Stewart has been one of the league's best rim protectors this season. He should be mentioned in conversations, even if only briefly, for Defensive Player of the Year, when you factor in his defensive impact at the rim, ability to guard in space, and Detroit's numbers when he's on the floor versus off the floor. Furthermore, Stewart is only 23 years old. He's only 23 years old, so he also fits the age timeline as well. Listen, I'm not saying I want to trade Precious Achiuwa for him, because if you look at the size, Achiuwa is 6'8", and so is Isaiah Stewart. So they're both giving you the same size. However, Achiuwa is more of a power forward, and Stewart's more of a center. So we have to keep that in mind. If you're ever going to trade Precious Achiuwa for anybody, the only player I might consider it for is Stewart. Because like James Edwards is pointing out here, for this roster, he might be the perfect fit in terms of a backup big or even a player you want to play alongside Karl-Anthony Towns for significant minutes. But let's continue here. Once again, Stewart is only 23 years old and just started a 4-year contract this season. In adding him, New York would address a need in the short term while having a young, proven player who can grow with this team in the future. Stewart would fit in tremendously as Towns' backup, or if Tom Thibodeau wanted to play the two together, he can do that as well. Stewart can defend 4s or 5s. Offensively, he has shot more than 38% from 3 last season, playing primarily as the 4. In adding Stewart, Towns could still play 5 on offense, while Stewart can help defend 5s on defense. Once again, though, the hiccup in adding someone like Stewart is Robinson's health. Rival teams may want significant draft capital in any deal involving Robinson because of the uncertainty with his foot. New York's remaining draft picks have to be treated with care and used on someone the front office is sure will move the needle. If they haven't already, Leon Rose and company will have to decide where they draw the line for this franchise. Edwards continues here by stating, all of this is why I keep going back to Stewart as a great fit for New York. He defends at a very high level, wants to be known as a lockdown defender, can make open threes, and is low maintenance on offense. If the Knicks do make a significant move between now and the trade deadline, the front court is the area I think they are most likely to address. I truly do not want to give up Precious Achiuwa, but we have to consider some things here with Achiuwa. Number one, his contract. He's expiring, he waived his no-trade clause, and if we do keep him for this season, what are we going to do with him next season? Are we going to re-sign him? And if he plays really good, are we going to have competition in re-signing him? Let me break the news for you. We are. That's why the Knicks need to make a decision on Achiuwa immediately. Now, honestly, for me, I like Achiuwa on this team. I would not want to move him unless it's for a very good player. There's not that many players on the list that I would like to move Achiuwa for, but there are other things to consider with Isaiah Stewart. His age, his contract, the fact that he can grow with this team, and he fits the age timeline. He plays aggressively on defense. And as Edwards said, he's one of the best in terms of rim protection. And if you pair that with Karl-Anthony Towns, who knows where the Knicks defense is? Now, we do have to acknowledge in the month of December, the Knicks defense, which is around 28th or 27th in the league for the first couple of games to start the season, over the last few games, our defensive rating, I believe, is 9th in the league. So obviously, we've improved on defense. That's due to Precious Achiuwa. Once Robinson comes back, he's also going to improve our defense. But for how long? For how many seasons? How long are we going to be able to count on it before he goes down with another injury? And then we're wondering, should we have flipped him earlier? These are all the things that the Knicks are going to have to consider when making a trade or making a move. I'm okay with the Knicks doing nothing, standing pat and waiting to get healthier to see what this Knicks team looks like once they are fully healthy. And then maybe looking at the buyout market to see if other moves exist that they really want to make. Right now, given all the winning that they're doing, they're on a 5-game win streak, looking to make it 6 games when they take on the Orlando Magic tonight. And hopefully they can succeed and get that win as well, too. If they continue to win and look good on defense, I don't think the Knicks are going to make a trade because there's no need to make a trade at all. The moves that you would likely make are for more defenders. But if you wait and just get healthy, that's going to happen by default. So maybe that's what the Knicks are considering right now. The only question is, what is going to be the trade package for Isaiah Stewart? If the Knicks could potentially just have to include Achiuwa and Robinson in that deal and nothing else just to get Isaiah Stewart on this team, then maybe I think the Knicks make the trade because I don't think they can ignore such a low-cost offer for a player like Isaiah Stewart. But in my opinion, the Detroit Pistons are likely going to ask for more draft compensation, first-round picks, and things like that. If all of that is asked for, the Knicks are not going to make any trades at all. They're not going to just give away their draft compensation at this point. They already made so many moves, had so many draft picks that they gave away. As of right now, they're going to hold on to everything that they have. And the only time they're going to make a move is when the cost is too good to ignore. And after watching Leon Rose for all these years, he's not going to make a move unless something forces him to make a move. And as of right now, nothing exists that would have him do that. So we just need to wait and let Leon Rose cook like he's been doing all offseason long to help improve this team if he finds a deal that makes sense for this roster. But what about you guys? What do you think about the following reports updating us on the Knicks trade plans for Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achiuwa as we reach the trade deadline? Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.